When you hear the word accessibility, what do you think of? For some, their idea might be tied to a wheelchair ramp or other modification of a physical barrier. And while that is correct, the word can also hold meaning to so much more. I'm honored today to welcome Teenie Davis, founder of Little Warrior Wishes. Thanks for joining me today, Teenie.
Thanks so much for having me.
So accessibility for you sometimes means making memories possible for families.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So that is your goal. Tell me a little bit about Little Warrior Wishes.
Absolutely. So Little Warrior Wishes, we exist to assist families in creating lasting memories when time frames are limited. So we are at the front. We are a wish granting organization, and we serve kiddos who are ages 0 to 5 and have a chronic, life-limiting, or terminal diagnosis. We have lots of different hats in our organization, so a lot of the times whenever there is a kiddo who has chronic, complex diagnosis, accessibility and adaptations are right along with that. And so we have seen a need in our community through our own experience as parents who have had a child with special needs and disabilities, and so we wanted to break down that barrier.
That's awesome, right? So you are located where?
We're located in Daviess County. That is our home base. So we serve Daviess, Martin, Knox, Pike, and Greene County in Indiana. And then we actually serve anyone who has a Walker-Warburg syndrome diagnosis in the United States.
Okay, and why is that?
That is because my daughter, Tala, she is my middle kiddo. She had Walker-Warburg syndrome, and it is the most severe congenital muscular dystrophy. It is a rare diagnosis, and so there are not a lot of families and kiddos who have that diagnosis. So it's just very special, and we're very passionate about those kiddos and families.
Right, and so that she was your inspiration then to start Little Warrior Wishes.
Yes, she was.
And you have accessibility listed, so kids in wheelchairs and kids, like you said, they don't have to have a specific disability. You're kind of open to all, and you're trying to break down barriers for all kids to be able to access and live lives and have memories with their families. And I know you were conducted a little bit in the accessible playground in Washington, and then tell me a little bit about the garden in Washington.
Yes, so we have the Boundless Blooms Garden, and we partnered with Developmental Services there in Washington, and United Way gave us, gave DSI a grant, and so in collaboration with them, we have an accessible garden. So we have raised flower beds that are wheelchair accessible. They stand up a little bit higher. And the foundation of the entire garden is flat. So anybody who has a wheelchair, a mobility device, braces, whatever that may be, that foundation is flat, so anybody can access it.
Right, and where is that located?
It is in Washington. It is right in front of Developmental Services, right behind Tractor Supply.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you provide all these services, and you are totally funded by volunteerism, right?
Yes.
And so if someone's watching this and they would like to donate or volunteer, what's an easy way that they can do that?
The best way really is to reach out on Facebook. We're on our Facebook all the time. You can send us an email through our Facebook page. They can reach out directly through email at littlewarriorwishes@gmail.com. We're open anytime. We're always looking for community partnerships, volunteers, and right now we're looking for additional funding just so that we can be sustainable and long-term.
Right, because you're just turning around and you're serving the community members, right? So that's, I mean, the funds are going right back into those families.
Exactly.
That are needing those funds. And I know you guys are just very active in the community. I mean, I just saw you in Washington at the Christmas thing.
Yes.
You were providing carriage rides. And tell me a little bit about why that.
Yes, so one of the main fun events in Washington is Christmas on Main, and for the past few years they've had carriage rides, and it was amazing, but there was no way for anyone who was in a wheelchair or a mobility device to get up into that carriage. And so after my daughter passed, we were just trying to think different ways to make the things that are already set in Washington accessible to more people, just like with the playground. And so we we connected with Raber Buggy Shop, and I brought him a picture, and he said, "Oh my goodness, I actually made that carriage."
Wow.
And it was located in Maine at a national park. And so they had an accessible carriage, and I brought it to him, and he said, "Okay, I have the designs, we'll get that made for you."
Wow.
So it's just another way for us to, we're not changing anything, we're making it just accessible for everyone.
Right.
So,
And I think, too, when people don't have, they've never experienced needing special accommodations, it can be easy to not think of that. And you
Yes.
don't think of it until you have a child that has extra needs.
Yes.
So you're kind of being ahead of the curve and going ahead and making these things, so that children, years to come, if they can say, okay, we know this is here now,
Yes.
and it just makes those parents' lives easier. And it makes
Absolutely.
little moments like going to the Christmas on Washington, Maine, that much more enjoyable. And it just
Yes.
opens doors that, that weren't necessarily closed, but they weren't open before,
Right.
so that's just such a
Yes.
meaningful thing.
nobody has to be, they're not able to do it. So nobody has to be left out.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone's able to share in together.
Right, and everything that was totally free. You provided all those
Yes.
services, and you were giving out books, and just being a part of the community, and doing that all for free. And like you said, that all comes from donations from community members and things. So
Yes.
if anyone is looking for something to get involved in or to give donations to, they can go directly to your Facebook page. And you have year-round events. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. So in February, we always recognize Rare Disease Day. It's very important to us because a lot of kiddos, specifically who are ages 0 to 3, if they do have rare diagnoses, they typically have accessible needs or adaptive needs. They sometimes just go hand in hand. And so we love to recognize Rare Disease Day. So this year it will be actually at the Indiana Theater on Washington on Main Street. And we're going to be having a free movie and popcorn and drinks. So it'll be a good event that everyone will be able to attend. And then in July, on July 3rd, we started this past year, but we're having a memorial butterfly release, and it will be ongoing year after year. July 3rd is National Bereaved Parents Day. And so, as parents who have lost a child, and we see, just due to the population that we do serve, sometimes loss happens. And that's part of the journey. So we have our wish experiences. We have the experiences for accessible needs, but then we also have, after the fact, we have that memorial butterfly release for anybody to come in and join.
Right.
So we release actual butterflies, so all of that is free. You just have to submit your name and your kiddo's name if you want it read aloud. It was probably over 50 individuals who came this past year, and it was amazing. I think that joy and grief go hand in hand a lot, so being surrounded by people who have some sort of resemblance of understanding is so impactful.
Right.
And then outside of that, we have a Halloween event every year. So this next year, it'll be this Saturday, October 24th. It'll be at Champion Lanes again, and that's our biggest fundraiser. Everything is, a Goodwill donation, so you can enter for free, but we had some different donation opportunities, whether that's specialty drinks or we had a silent auction this past year that went over really well.
Yeah.
And then the next thing that we always do is just Christmas on Main as well.
Right.
So
yeah. I've seen somewhere you had different donation amounts can provide different opportunities. And I thought that was
Yes.
really interesting because I think when people think of Make-A-Wish, they think, oh, well, that's going to cost thousands of dollars and there's no way I
Right.
could ever contribute to that,
Yes.
But you have, it's smaller amounts, and it's so families can go take day trips or a trip to the zoo and just have little
Yes.
special moments,
Yes.
And so I think if you talk about that, I think that's something that really spoke to me because I thought, sometimes that is things like that are families can take for granted, like going to the zoo is whatever, it's no big deal. But
Right.
but for some families, it's man, we get to go out and you get to experience that, and that's a really special thing. So tell me about those different donation amounts.
Yeah, so we have lots of different donation amounts, and really is because they're all needed.
Yeah.
You know, there's $10 that provide stickers and little Halloween tattoos or flower or butterfly tattoos for kiddos who are at our events that we have. You know, $300 can get 100 butterflies, and you know, $5,000 if people want to do that. You know, that's a wish trip for a family.
Right.
So there's lots of different needs that we have, and lots of different opportunity to give as well.
Right. And how do families that are in need of your services get in contact with you?
Yep. So again, the best way is through our Facebook page, and they can send us an email, or we also have a Google form that is attached to our Facebook page, and they can go ahead and apply through that. I just need their contact information, you know, the age of their kiddos, that type of thing. There's just a few things that we really need, is just name, age, and a confirmation of diagnosis.
Right. And then you said a while ago that joy and grief go hand in hand, you know,
Yes.
and just all the emotions that go along with it. And what does it mean to you to be able to see those families then getting to go have those happy memories and knowing that you helped provide those? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. As a family who, you know, we didn't know if we were going to get a wish with my daughter. Her diagnosis was severe, and we got very limited time, and we were given very limited time. So when we were going through the motions of, I think that she would qualify for a wish, and you know, we went and applied on her behalf, that's when we found out that you have to be 2.5 to apply for a wish for most wish granting organizations. And for us, she wasn't 2.5 at that time, and the lifespan that was given was 3 years. And so we just didn't know, and that was another hurdle and another moment of grief for us. And we ended up, she was able to get a wish, and you know, we were able to have those experiences together, and we know just how important those memories are. And it's not the big, you know, grand thing that we remember. It's the laughs, it's the photos, and you know, the feelings that we felt while we were all together.
Right.
And you know, one of the things that we really try to showcase is sometimes we're not going to have a cure for some diagnosis. I mean, that's just the world, you
Right.
know. But if we can help people, sometimes miracles really are just memories and moments together.
Right.
And so I think you just see that a lot
Right.
through
And-
joy and grief.
Right, in the position that you're in, and to be, you know, the community is seeing the good that you're doing and wanting to get behind you. And I think, you know, you've talked about your growth over the last year, and I just think you're
Yes.
going to keep growing because, I mean, there's really nothing around here like your organization. I mean,
Right.
it's very truly unique. And I think that you are bringing joy into people's lives and hopes and helping those memories. So I think
Thank
that
you.
you're just doing heroic work, and I
Thank
just
you.
really, I just think your organization is amazing. So thank you for coming on today, Teeny.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Yes. And to contact Little Warrior Wishes, you can message them on Facebook or email them at littlewarriorwishes.com.